Welcome back to Poddy Talk. This episode is brought to you by Bud Light Canada. To kick off summer 2021, Bud Light is celebrating 2 new epic drinks that we know you'll enjoy this summer. After much anticipation and jealousy from our neighbors down south, Bud Light seltzers are finally in Canada. Bud Light Seltzer, a sparkling hard seltzer with full fruit taste, and Bud Light Seltzer is refreshing with natural flavor. It's only 80 calories and 1 gram of sugar per can. And it's now available in 4 different flavors: strawberry, black cherry, lemon lime, and mango.
Well, speaking of mango tour, Bud Light Mango Beer is now in Canada too. Meet the newest member of Bud Light Beer family. It's mango. It's crisp, it's refreshing, and it pours a brilliant sunny golden color. You got the sweet aromas of the fully ripened mangoes, which are literally one of my favorite fruits ever, no lie. But it is a limited edition flavor, so you better go get your hands on it this summer long while you can, along with the other members such as lime and strawberry lemonade. Bud Light Canada is perfect for any occasion, and it's totally made for summer, which might just be the most potty talk thing I've ever heard of.
I totally agree. So make sure you guys check out Bud Light Living on social for all things Bud Light Canada, including new product drops, merch, and of course, contests.
We love a contest. So let us know what your favorite Bud Light seltzer flavor is and keep your eye out for Bud Light Mango while it's available. Please enjoy responsibly. Thank you, Bud Light Canada. We love you. Let's hop into today's episode. Oh, we are back, baby. Can you believe it?
Welcome back to Poddy Talk, the podcast where we
shit talk ourselves. I'm Jac.
And I'm Tor, and I've been waiting for you to do that properly for 6 to 8 months now.
Yeah, you know what? I really dropped the ball on all of the quarantine ones where we did it virtual. It was just really hard, but
I agree. Like, I gotta say, guys, the virtual podcast, no joy. You know how I say no joy in the kitchen? No joy in a virtual podcast. It's like the whole magic is this.
Is
like
in person.
It's the, as they say, Banter. You know, I've been watching all the UK shows recently.
So she's a Love Island addict. Let me say that.
I'm getting all of their little quirky things. Like, I just love the way they speak and their intonations. We are not glamorous in our Canadian. No, we're not. Like,
would you call Love Island glamorous, though?
I mean, I would call
it's hilarious. That's what I would call it.
It's the way they kind of say cute things to each other, like, oh, who do you fancy? And it's like, well, I don't know, but I got a crush on this guy. Like, I feel like we're so harsh in our language, and they're so, I don't know, like, romantic. I don't know how to explain it.
I think what's so funny is just, like, the amount of different dialects and different types of accents, how vast they are. And, like, here in Canada, sure, you've got the super, like, Canadian hockey boy kind of, like, thing.
Totally.
But I feel like in many ways we are very Americanized with how we speak, but they have such specific, like, regional accents.
Yeah.
And it is so funny. And my, like, running thing, I love talking in really bad English accents. Like, it's kind of like, I do it as a joke. I'll be like, oh, okay, love, let's go do that. Like, you know how they talk in that really...
It's really hard.
Mine is horrible, but...
No,
and they call people, like, bird. They'll be like, oh, my bird.
Yeah, and, like, I don't know. Like, I just love it all. It's really the culture that I want to hop into.
Would you ever go on Love Island?
So, Adam was jokingly like, why do you, like, analyze it so much? Because I was like, I would not be super happy, like, sharing a room with everyone. And then he's like, why are you talking as if it's, like, an experience you're going to have?
Oh my
and
God.
I mean, who knows? I would say my instinct, well, firstly, Love Island, I'm Canadian, so not the one. But, like, I do believe there is a place for me in reality television. It's just where. You know what I'm saying? But I love reality TV. So
Love Island is taking over 6 days a week, 5 days a week?
It's 6 days a week. It is a full-time job, I will say.
I understand.
But luckily we have, and Jac as well, we have a lot of friends that are, like, based, like, not based in the UK, but, like, came from the UK. Yeah. So the spirit is so alive. Like, they just really get the show, and it's great to watch with people that are from the UK because they know the banter even better, so they can, like, keep you up to tune. It's great vibes. I honestly
swear sometimes I need, like, subtitles on it, though. Like, sometimes the accents are so intense.
That's why you have to watch it with a British person or, like, someone from the UK.
Translate it all for you.
Yeah. Anyway, so crazy. Well, we were calling it out before, but this looks like our original setup. If you're, like, a day one lover of Poddy, you know the clothing rack. Is this the... Oh, it's not the same clothing rack because we were in a literal closet the last time. Now we're in a nice studio.
What we did, though, one time is when we were in the other studio before, obviously, the pandemic, we brought this to the actual studio.
We did.
With my actual clothes falling off of it. It was really ambitious, but it made for the running joke. Like, I feel like it made sense in the time, and here we are back in
we were just so committed to the craft. You know what I'm saying?
It just looks good. You know me. I love a Roy G. Biv color scheme.
Yeah.
Look, and I've done it with my computer. Like,
Wait, what does that mean?
Like, do you just see how it gradients to the color?
Wait, again, these are things in life that we've just decided that I have a very minimal, I don't know how to explain myself. Things like that mean nothing to me.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for me, and what does that mean for you that that's all you care about?
So I don't think it's necessarily good or bad, but it's just something that I've actually really come to learn, that I'm a very visually affected person.
Okay.
Like, you know this even about my space. Like,
yeah.
Well, like, obviously I like things like cleaned a certain way.
Right.
And like kept a certain way, but even now that we had been spending so much more time at home, I was like, oh, I need like this upgrade done, or like I need this balcony finished, or else it's gonna bother me like seeing it like.
Yeah.
So I need those jobs like completed right away, and like, God bless my father, he is my handyman on call. So if something's like wrong or needs adjusting, or like a photo needs to be put up, or like I just need things like that done, or else
whereas
it drives
like
me nuts.
literally 70% of my condo is broken right now.
What's happening?
No, it's just who I am. Like, I think that just is like my spirit. Like, my sister was over on the weekend, and she was staying over for like a fun sister weekend. And she like came out of the shower, and she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I think I broke like your hand, like your towel holder. And I was like, girl, that's been broken for like a year and a half. And then she like clicked my sink, and she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I was like, no, that's been broken for like 6 months.
God.
Like, she just was like calling things out. And then she like tried to open my cupboard, and like the door handle fell off. And I was like, oh, don't worry. That's been like that for like a year. Like, but
it's like the Airbnb when you go to use the towel rack and it pulls off.
I thought
the
of that.
wall.
Like, everything is like, nothing
Wait, why is that happening? I've never noticed that.
I need a handyman, essentially. And my light, she goes, the light is clicking weird. I go, oh, no. That's been like that for like, no, these are like real examples. Like, I've actually said 4, but all of these are real. So it's like.
I do actually remember one time at your place, I thought I broke your,
the towel. Everyone thinks they broke the towel, but that's never been, it's never,
actually
ever
fixed.
been.
It's not even broken.
Yeah.
No, it was the door to your bathroom one day, because like, you know.
That's just finicky. Not broken, but finicky.
I thought I like maybe twisted it too hard because it kind of like moved a bit. I was like, oh crap, but no,
I know,
it
is like that. When we stayed at an Airbnb a few summers ago, it was like my home. Like, everything you touched kind of fell apart. It was like
that was a fun house though.
But we super glued everything when we left the
Airbnb. Eyelash
Airbnb.
glue. Let me be clear. It was the Kiss eyelash glue. It saved our life.
Oh
but
my God.
Things like, what was it? The stovetop fell. Like,
yeah.
It
really
wasn't
intense
even our fault.
thing.
We are not bad.
You know,
Airbnb
the stovetop is another event that has just recently happened to me. We were at an Airbnb in Halliburton with like a bunch of Adam's friends for his friend's birthday.
No.
Yes, the same thing happened. The stove glass released itself, and I was like,
was someone sitting on it?
No, I'm like, are people just like super gluing their homes? Like, I didn't understand. We of course just stuck it back on, because I guess that's also just Airbnb life. No one's gonna claim the brokenness.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we didn't break it. It just, I think, was already broken.
That's what's actually really hard. I was actually watching this YouTube video about like this girl who is investing in this Airbnb, and she's kind of taking everyone along her journey. But it kind of got me thinking about like the idea of Airbnb, and I feel like even what it was maybe 4 years ago, when it was more like, I don't want to say like underground, but it was just kind of getting started, and like not a lot of people knew about it. It definitely was super special. But you think now, when you hear those like horror stories about those huge parties, or like you just have that one terrible guest and it can ruin the entire thing and outweigh the investment, the financial benefit of even doing it.
Yeah.
And all it takes is one bad crowd who is messy, disgusting, just doesn't respect your space, and it like ruins it for everyone.
I'm not interested in that as a life, as a
like
job.
Like being a host?
Kind of.
Oh,
like,
yeah, no.
I just feel like it's too much responsibility, and it would give me anxiety. Like, you really don't. I mean, I know our group, and like, I actually think we're like next level fantastic guests. Like, I think we're like so nice to everyone's space, and like, but again,
but
it's
no way
so
everyone's like
rare.
us.
Yeah, like, I don't think every group is like that, or like overcompensates. Like, it was funny, like, even when I was leaving an Airbnb in California, one of like the friends was like, oh, well, we can just leave that. And I was like, no, like, I don't think we can.
It's not right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I don't think so. Like, I feel like weird about giving people extra work, you know?
Well, at the end of the day, you're trusting and relying on society and people to respect your space, which, think about your everyday life. The people you walk into and run into, those could be the people staying in your...
That's risky business,
You're trusting strangers.
I'm not interested. So what the heck else is going on? Guys, welcome back also.
Yes.
Like, we didn't really acknowledge, like, sorry, hi.
My life was
We
so
are
boring
here.
for about three months specifically. Like, life was dead for me, and I was like, I have nothing.
I have nothing to give.
Nothing to give, nothing to say, nothing to report. I just... What's it, like a baseline?
Has it taken a shift? What's gone on now? We're fully vaxxed also, we should acknowledge.
And like, even just being able to see Tor, like, it was so nice just to see humans again, and it was kind of a weird moment. I feel like I talked about this a little bit on my YouTube channel and my vlog. It was like a bit of a health scare. We thought my mom maybe had COVID, which made no sense because she literally had seen no one, and then turns out her appendix was ruptured. So I was helping them for a little bit, and obviously we were still in lockdown. We've had the longest lockdown in North America, which is just, I mean, ultimately everything is happening the way it needs to happen, and like I'm glad it was done the way it had to be done, because luckily we're looking pretty good now here in Ontario.
Yeah,
but okay, you've got to talk about the LA experience. You were in LA living your best.
Yeah.
And on the Daily Mail at one point, like lots was happening.
I will say, like, a bit of a shock in terms of just how open everything was there. I think, and we've talked about this, like, it's weird when you've been in lockdown for so long, you think you're going to be like just really excited and like down to get back to real life. Mm-hmm. But there is this sense of like, and I'm, as we all know, 100% extroverted based on that random like test that I've taken, or the EQJ or whatever.
INF type or whatever, Myers-Briggs.
Literally like 100% extroverted. So I'm on like the strongest end of like, I get my energy from other people. I love to be out. But even I, like when I was in LA, was like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed by how open this all is, how much like socializing we were doing. And like, it was probably the second night that we had like started going out, and I was like, oh, I gotta go home. Like I got like overwhelmed at a party. There was tequila involved, but like I got overwhelmed, and
which
like
never mixes well with Tori. Let me just add that in there.
I shouldn't drink tequila anyways. But then I just was like crying at this random Beverly Hills party, and I was like, oh, you're so embarrassing. Go home. So I did. I left, but like, but they basically, but they made fun of me for like wearing a mask. To be fair, no one there has been wearing masks for a long time.
They were just beyond where we were at.
Well, of course, like.
No, that's just the construction.
I understand.
Yeah, no, don't worry.
Oh my God. So,
our building's not falling over.
Yeah, so oh my God, don't say that. I actually had like a nightmare the other day about a building just like collapsing.
Did you see what happened in Miami?
I know. And I was with engineers. This is such a trail on of something totally different. But
what? Say it
I was with engineers recently because all of Adam's friends that we were at this cottage with are engineers. We were talking about it on the drive up, like how devastating the whole Miami building like falling was. Mm-hmm. And they were like, yeah, like, do you know the story of like why all engineers in Canada wear the pinky ring? Like why they all have the iron ring?
I've heard about like this ring experience.
Yes. And I said no, and I also didn't realize this was like a Canadian thing. I thought this was like engineers globally. They're like, no, this is a Canadian like sort of tradition.
Is this a sad story? Kind
of? Well, not really. It's kind of inspiring. Okay. So basically, years and years and years ago, there was, and don't hold me to this because I don't remember the story identically, but essentially there was a bridge that fell, that was made, and the bridge fell. And it was like really tragic and like really terrible. And so they took the iron from the bridge that fell, and the engineers now always wear this iron ring.
That's the iron?
No, not the exact. It's like $30. It's like it's just like a or steel. It could whatever. It's a strong metal.
They got the steel from the bridge.
Well, the original guys did. That's where the story came from.
Cute.
And it was meant to be a reminder of the responsibility you uphold as an engineer, and that the bridge should never fall. So it's a very nice sentiment, actually.
That is kind of beautiful.
Yeah. Don't cry. Yeah, it's beautiful. So then I was like, oh, that's so inspiring. And they were like, yeah, like it's more of a Canadian story and tradition, but they all had their rings, and it was really cute. And they take them really seriously. Like one of the guys,
intense experience. Yeah, I've heard about
one of the guys like took it off. Like we were going swimming or something, and then he's like, "Where's my ring?" Like it was as if it was like an engagement ring. And it was kind of cute. Like, but of course, like it's you've worked really hard for it. You go through all this schooling. It's like a big thing. So
again, don't quote me on this because I mean we never know what
we're talking about. Why are we telling
about.
Fake facts on Poddy Talk?
No, but like, did you hear about the Miami thing? I can't remember if I was talking about this with you, but there was, so obviously there's like 150 people who are missing or undiscovered yet.
Yeah.
And I think it was primarily maybe an older or long-term care home or like more older residents maybe.
Okay.
And apparently this grandson kept getting calls from the grandparents' number who were still undiscovered yet. So no, it's like so sad. So apparently, I think maybe it was like 15 times the number had called
15?
The grandson.
Oh my God.
So they were kind of thinking like, hey, what if the speaker's just blown out of the phone, but they're like trapped under rubble and they're calling for help? What if it's this weird glitch? Like, what if it's just coincidence? But could you imagine Wait,
so it never was resolved? They were just
they're
calls.
still looking for
Oh, that's so sad.
So
oh my
sad.
God.
But like, imagine the fact, like, if they like could bear, because I guess it was on their bedside like table, so people were theorizing, like, maybe they're trapped under rubble
Oh
and
my
they can
God,
just barely...
I can't even think about that.
It's so tragic.
That also reminds me, we started a book... We're just jumping all over.
How does that remind you of a book?
Because in our book club, in All the Light We Cannot See, that's what happened. They were stuck under the rubble. How could you not make that
I didn't know which
mental
one you were
connection?
talking about. Okay, that makes sense.
We started a book club, again, in quarantine because of boredom of life. And actually, our book club is having a reunion this weekend. We're all going to Ottawa for like a cute girls IRL weekend. I'm very excited. But anyways, that reminded me of All the Light We Cannot See. And also, we were reading the saddest freaking book in the middle of lockdown, in the middle of quarantine. I was like, we need to actually stop this. So then we started reading more like sexual entendre books
of spice things up a little bit.
Female, like, I don't know, it was so funny. Like, we just went all over the place.
Oh my God, okay, now
What's an entendre?
A double entendre, if it's like a double meaning, right?
Okay,
I don't know if you used it in the right way.
I don't think I did, but I liked the word
read books,
sexual
but we're not
entendres, and I don't think that's actually a way to say it. But that's fine.
Innuendos.
What did that remind you of?
Sexual innuendos?
Sure.
Okay. What that reminded me of is that book specifically ties into one of my funny stories that I had to tell you about, and I haven't even told.
Okay, I swear this is not planned. It seems like we have topics and we're jumping all over.
We just segue into the next thing.
No, we're just professionals at this point.
No. Okay, so I think you're gonna die at this. So tell me why my mother calls me like 3 days ago and goes, "Oh, your father is booked and busy." Like #actor's life, and I go, What? And I go,
what does that mean?
Well, same. I go, what does that mean? She goes, oh, well, he's going to be working on, what was yesterday? Thursday. Tuesday?
Okay.
Wednesday? And I was like, sorry, back up. She goes, okay, so this randomly happened. We just got a call that they would like me to submit more photos or something. I was like, wait, back up. So the story goes, my mom is friends with a lot of the casting directors, either on Facebook or like follows some of their pages. And with the acting industry, there's the union, which is like what Tor does, I grew up in, and those are like specific projects. And there's non-union work, which can do open casting calls, and anyone can kind of technically apply.
Right.
So I guess during quarantine, my parents were bored 6 months ago. This was like heat of lockdown.
Okay.
And my mom saw this posting for one of my dad's favorite like army shows, war shows.
Jesus
and
Christ.
Mom goes, oh, look it. They're looking for like men 45 to 55 for this show. Like, that'd be hilarious. Should I submit you? And Dad goes, wait, I love that show. Like, that's the show I watch every day.
What?
And then it was like to be like, say, an army man or something
and it's
in the
shooting
war.
in Toronto.
And, well, that show was. So, at the time, Dan goes, yeah, submit me. Like, I'd love to, like, do background work for a day and be an army man. And I was like, are you sure, though? Like, it's like a job.
Does he have a headshot?
He is absolutely not. Never. He has taken me on set as a child, but has zero acting experience. And I would actually beg to differ. Is like a bad actor, if anything. But he was so like excited about it. So Mom's like,
cute, yeah.
So Mom's like, it's background, whatever. You'll get paid $200 if you just want to go do it for a day. Like, I'll get a day free.
You get
like,
the experience, yeah.
Go. Like, she's like, whatever. I'll submit you if you want to go on your favorite show. So she submits like a photo, like, and I was like, can you show me the photos you submitted? So it's just like my dad like standing like this.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then
I'm alarmed.
They never told me about this like whatever 6 months ago.
Yeah, because it's embarrassing.
It's horrifying. So I guess I didn't hear back. He didn't book that role. But then the casting director personally emails them and goes, hey, I know you submitted for this other show like way back. Just curious if Dan is available this week. We actually have a specific role that we think he'd be perfect for.
Stop.
And then we're like, what is this? So they inquire like, what is it about? And I guess it's another spin-off of this show that he likes, this war show. So take this though. It's set in like Nazi Germany. He's on the bad guy's side.
No.
He's the scientist, lab scientist for Hitler himself.
No.
Yes. So Mom's like, well, Danny, do you want to do it? It films like tomorrow in like Hamilton.
What?
So Dan's like, yeah, I do. So Mom's like, okay,
no
like
way.
you can like you
go.
live your life. Go
is
do
he
it.
Even ready? Is he prepared?
So he shot it yesterday. So
Oh
Mom calls me and goes, she's like, your father's booked as a scientist. So it's kind of one of those like, you know, historian shows where like you have historians talking about like, and then what happened? They were blah blah blah, and they walk you through like factual experiences, but then they have like these kind of like fade in flashbacks of like people reenacting them.
Yeah, okay. So he's like
going
reenacting the moment.
Yes, he is the like doctor in the lab, like measuring people. It's like the craziest thing. So I'm like dying laughing. Like I cannot breathe at this story. I'm just like, also like, Dan, you've never been like on camera. Like I just knew it was gonna go poorly.
No.
So anyways, he's so excited though. He was like, oh my gosh, well, I'm the lead scientist. Like, this is like a big role. Like, he's getting excited. No. So I guess he's like nervous the night before because like mom's also kind of like prepping him because she doesn't want him to like
be a loser.
Yeah. She's like, say, like when they say like action, like don't look in the camera ever. Like, he's sure taken me to auditions and stuff, but has no idea what it's like to be in front of the camera.
Wait, this is
this
so
like the funniest thing?
It's also just so random.
That's what I knew you would be like, what the heck is this story? So fast forward, it had happened yesterday. I was like, you must get him to call me as soon as he comes home. Like, I need to hear how it went. So apparently it was like he had the best time. He was so happy.
Oh no, this is almost worse.
But he's like, oh my gosh, all the other background actors were like mingling because he was like the lead guy in the scene. So like they were like, how'd you get this role? Who are you with? Like,
Stop.
And then he's like, they were all such chatters. Like he's like telling me about this experience and like,
he's
you
like,
know what some actors are. And,
yeah.
That was like on
he's
set.
an actor's actor.
Oh, he's an actor's actor, all right.
Yeah.
And he's like, actually, this is my first gig, everyone. And they're like, oh my god, like,
oh my god.
But then get this, so apparently, like, and this is classic Danny. I am not surprised at all. I guess they had to call cut a few times because he couldn't stop sweating. He's like, it was so hot under the lights, and like I had my lab coat on, and I didn't get a break. I had to keep going. So I guess he's like dripping sweat, which is just the most Danny thing ever. So I was like, my poor heart goes out to the makeup artist, who I guess had to keep powdering him all.
No.
But yeah. So he loved it.
I mean,
and he goes, I think they're gonna call me back because this is season 1 of the spinoff, and he goes, this is a main role, the laboratory guy. So like, I think they'd call me back. So I was like, okay, Danny.
Oh my god.
So
well, good for him. That's cute. And they're retired, right? So like, they gotta find some exciting like
my mom
fresh
was
new things.
Thrilled. She goes, I will have a Danny free date. She came over. She's like, I'm gonna go for a swim in your pool. Like she was like,
she was living her best life.
She's like, I'm gonna keep booking him on things. Like if I can. Anyways,
she's just everyone's agent now. She's really busy.
Truly.
That's
so
hilarious.
all I asked of my father, I run an Instagram account for him. I'm not gonna say what it is, but my dad is
Wait, why? Is it private?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's exclusive for friends and family only.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it's like ambiguous enough that if you were to click on it, you wouldn't know that it's like my father's page.
Account?
Yeah, because it's kind of like a...
Wait,
it's kind of like
hilarious.
Almost like a Finsta.
Now you need like a photo of him on set on the page.
Well, that's what I said. I go, all I need for you.
It's like a good BTS.
And like the premise of the show is just my father living his, or the premise of the show. The premise of the Instagram I run for him is just my father living his life.
No, they write this whole
things.
show about Danny.
Like, no, so I guess what he was doing, he's like measuring people's skulls. So he's like talking in it, but they told him don't talk too much because he's supposed to be speaking another language. So you don't want to read his lips because like he's gonna be silent on camera. But in the moment he's like, okay, next patient in. Okay, thank you. You can leave now. Like he's like, I would die to see this raw footage. Can you imagine? And he's like probably trying to be like,
I would pay really good fucking money to see the raw footage. Like as a birthday gift. That's what I would want delivered to my door.
I cannot. So
that's funny.
Once I know what this is, I will definitely give him some major love. I'm gonna absolutely mock him, but also celebrate him. But all I asked was take a photo of you on set or like a selfie in your outfit. He goes, I forgot, like it was, you don't understand, like it was a little intent, like he's just so in it. So big up background role for Danny. Shout out to my dad.
Aw, that's cute.
His first gig. Tell me why he's more of a working actor than I am.
You know, background and like stand-in roles are they get paid really well.
For how like
I think it's like what, $50 an hour or something?
I think he got paid like $200 for 3 hours.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's $50 an hour, and you probably have a minimum buy-in or something.
And
like, there's got to be something
on set, like actually only filming, I think, for like 30 minutes. So he could have like been doing other at-home work.
Yeah.
I think it's
and
honestly
then stand-ins make even more money.
Yeah.
And stand-ins, if anyone doesn't know, is like essentially like when my boyfriend is doing his job. So like when the cinematographers come in and they have to be like, yo, we're gonna change the lights and change the whole setup, and the gaffers start lifting gear, the like lead cast is obviously not gonna be like, yeah, allow us to stand here.
They get paid too well to stand to get lit.
They get paid way too well to stand there to get lit. So then they bring in people called stand-ins, and they're just like these random people and usually they're a similar height and build to you, and like similar like skin tone usually, because they're gonna light to that person. And then they just stand in your spot at your tee to wait until the real actors are going to come back in. But they get paid bank. Although I will say, boring job. I would never personally want it, but some people love it.
I have a story I have to tell you. So so this is maybe I was in grade 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And
were you a stand-in?
No, I wanted to be for this one thing. I didn't get it because I was too tall, which is shocking.
So height does matter. I mean, I thought it did, but
they were down to a T. So basically, my agent always knew my dream in life. Like I wanted to be on like Hannah Montana. Like a Disney show was like my favorite thing. So they had a Disney movie shooting in Toronto, and it was called
It's for me.
It was called Frenemies, and this was Bella Thorne and Zendaya, but this is
I remember
before
this,
Shake It Up had come out. So like at the time, you didn't know who they were, but you knew they were the next up-and-coming Disney stars.
Okay.
So it was this movie, and I guess, I'm pretty sure there was like a twin in the movie, so they needed an accurate, like it wasn't even just a stand-in, it was a body double, but also a stand-in. It also was going to be the twin, like when the shoulder shots. Like,
that's a big ask.
You know what I mean?
It's different, like if you have to look identical to them.
So my agent had kind of asked me, she's like, hey, this isn't like I'd never obviously done something like that before, but she's like, don't know if you're interested. Like, I think you'd be a perfect match for, I think the actor's name, I remember her name was like Mary. She was, I think, the third lead in it or whatever. And she's like, I think you'd like visually like look like her and probably would be a good fit. Send in your measurements and we'll see if you're interested. And I was like, yeah, I want to be on set of this thing. Like, absolutely. And
totally.
Also, you'd be kind of like acting with, like, obviously I would never show up on camera, but you would be like playing and, you know, playing around, as we say.
Acting.
Oh, actors, hashtag actors life. So then I ended up getting a call the next day and they're like, hey, your measurements look great. Like, we think you're the perfect size. We have you and another actor.
Person?
Yeah, we want you to come in on set and stand next to her. We're going to do all the measurements. And like, we want wardrobe to take a look. We want hair texture to be the same. They want everything to be a perfect match.
Right.
So they're calling me in and it's on the lunch break. So I was like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to meet like some of the other cast or like how this is going to work.
Jacqueline's literally here for the clout. I'm dead.
Oh, I'm like the biggest fangirl. And I'm like, this is like my prime ugly phase. Like this is when the nose grew before the face. I was just also like a bit scrawny. Like I was just awkward.
Right.
And so I looked hideous, also taken. So we're standing on the lunch break. I meet the girl.
Braces?
I don't know if I had braces. I could have at this point. And I'm looking at her and I was like, oh, she was a bit like shorter and a bit stockier than me at the time, like, but like by a smidge.
Yeah.
And they had another girl who was on.
Looked exactly like her.
Well, she was a bit even shorter maybe, but like, it was like I was maybe a bit too tall, she was a little too short, so I was like, crap, like I wonder which way they're gonna go.
Yeah.
So then they call like the director and I'm trying to like, I knew, so I'm trying to like hunch down a little bit and appear a bit more like compact. And
compact is such a good word to describe that.
Well, yeah, so I'm sure my mom can see me like, you know, trying to like. But and then the hair person's coming, they're like, oh yeah, her hair texture's perfect. So I'm like, okay, I got the hair pass, like whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, long story long, they ended up going with the other girl.
That sucks.
But I was excited because, and they were like, oh, they introduced me to the rest of the cast too. So then they're like, oh, this is Bella Thorne and Zendaya. At the time, obviously, I had no idea who they were.
Yeah.
So I got a cute picture with them, and then
that's funny.
And that, I think, is my very first Instagram photo that I ever posted. So I think if you scroll back, it was, I'm like, me on set of Frenemies, like, as if I'm, like, working it. And I was like, no, I was called in for a lunch fitting, basically. So.
Aww. I mean, hey, clout is clout. Like, I'll take it anywhere
Clearly,
I can
the Forbes family has the background stand-in actor life on watch, so stay tuned.
I love that. That's so funny.
Isn't that the stupidest story?
Well, I think a lot of people, if they could, they would want to do a job like that because you make good money. It's not
really
a
good
huge
experience,
it's a cool experience. You actually get to see how a set works. It's just, you got to kind of know how to click into the industry in that way.
No shade to any of that. We love a background actor. We love a stand-in.
I love it. I also think, like, it's interesting because background actors usually have really good insight into how actors are on set. Like, it's really easy, I think, for, like, the lead cast to, like, forget about background actors because that's just not where your head's at when you're, like, memorizing other lines and doing shit.
Yeah.
But, like, they could come back 5 years later and be like, oh, that girl was such a rude actor on set. Like, I saw her behave this way or that way because they're just, like, eyes, you know?
I'll also say that I think, and I'm curious what your experience is, even when I was working more of, like, I didn't notice it as much when I was a kid, but when I was working as a makeup artist, noticing how people treat background actors is, like, so
says
shocking.
A lot about who you are.
But I would say, like, I feel like it's more normal than not that, like, generally the vibe is like, ugh, background actors, oh, we have to deal with them, it's so annoying. And, like, that is the energy all the time, which always is kind of, like, it leaves such a bad taste in your mouth.
I wouldn't say it's annoying, but what I will say is, there were times where background actors would like try to or like insert themselves or like do things where it was like they were like literally just trying to be seen by the camera or like causing too much of a ruffle and then that's really annoying for actors that are carrying the lines because it's like, my man, like walk up, get your smoothie, exit. I need to hit my mark. I have that sounds rude,
but when the background actor is like ruining the shot and they're like, you over there, stop looking into the camera.
Stop looking like, it's just like, okay, like, and not to say like my man, like, we're just trying to carry the show right now, but it's like there's other people that are focused on getting words out and like doing things. So I see both sides. I never ever would like say anything to a background actor or like be rude, but I don't appreciate like them slowing down the day. Like just if you gotta grab the smoothie and exit, like do that. Like I remember once actually, like
who did not grab the smoothie?
There was like I'm just imagining like a cafe scene once where I had to like hit my mark and there was someone that just needed to walk up and like grab a smoothie, like, you know, passing, like they want someone to pass the camera as I'm kind of like running through the door and running in to like start the scene, and this guy's like fucking glacier pacely walking to get the smoothie, and they're like, sir, grab the smoothie, like exit frame, and I'm literally like trying to enter.
Milk his airtime.
Yes.
He's like, I'm gonna stay on camera as long as possible.
And that to me is like a huge L.
Oh,
like
well, that's a no.
Please, like just. And I'm not against background actors, but just like, know your place.
Wait,
you know?
actually, that reminds me too. I don't know if I told this story in the podcast or maybe just told you personally.
Now I'm saying know your place, and it's like, Danny, don't fucking milk your shit.
Danny's like, I'm gonna measure that. Like he's taking his sweet time.
I get it though. It's like hard. Like you're excited and you want to just like, you know, it's cool.
But no, this one story. Okay, so I was in actually grade 8 probably again. So again, I'm in my awkward, just hideous phase of life.
Yeah.
And I was on this like super small role on this. It was like this new kind of up and coming show, and one of the leads was Jesse from Hannah Montana.
Oh, cool.
What's his name?
The guy with the black hair, like
yes,
the boyfriend?
like Jesse.
I don't know his name, but that's fine. We can just call him Jesse.
No, Jake.
He's known by Jake. The
no, he
with
was
dark
Jesse.
hair or
Jesse.
blonde?
No, the dark hair, Jesse.
Okay. I think it was
Jesse.
Jake. Jake was the dark hair.
No, Jake was the blonde hair.
Oh.
Jake. It's
whatever.
like he could be the one.
Yeah.
Anyways, Drew Roy, that's his name. Drew Roy. Oh my God, loved him. So I was so excited because this is just like Hannah Montana's at its peak. I just watched his episodes, and now he's in like all of my scenes. So I'm like so excited. I'm like, oh my God, do I like say something? Like, do I have to play it cool? Okay. And at this point, like all the other actors in all of my scenes were like very established like actors. This was like direct or like produced by Steven Spielberg. So I'm like, there's a lot of like, oh my God, I've got to be good on set. Like, oh my God. And so what had happened and I like was a bit like, I wouldn't say shy, but I just like also was very self-aware that I didn't want to be that annoying kid because I was by far the youngest one, even like on set in that scene interacting. And so I was, you know, a bit more timid, I guess, than I would normally be. And I also wanted to be respectful and whatever. And I was young and I didn't want to be that kid. But then on we had like a really long break and they were taking a long time to reset. And there was also some background kids who kind of weren't in our scene, but they were maybe in a later scene, but they were kind of like randomly on the active set, like on the sidelines, and people were trying to wrangle them. They're like, yo, like go back into school or whatever. And there was this one kid I remember who specifically was just like being really annoying and like wasn't listening, wasn't going to school. And he saw us kind of hanging out like as they were setting up, so he kind of wandered over. Yeah. And he kept like talking, and he was like, oh my God, like I know you from this show, and like was talking to Drew, my boyfriend. And I was like, leave him alone, like no paparazzi, like come on, don't bug him, he's like in the zone. Anyway, so I was like so annoyed with this kid, and then this kid randomly starts like, it actually ends up saving the day because he actually made a good kind of, I guess, segue for me and Drew to bond. And so he starts like, I guess, doing cartwheels, throwing himself around the like grass and like rolling around. And then Drew's like, he was being nice to him. He's like, I can do a handstand, buddy, or whatever. So he does a handstand, and I'm like, at this point, at the peak of my gymnast career, and I'm like, oh, I can do handstands, Drew Roy. Yeah. So I'm like giggling, like doing handstands with him. I think my mom was at the sideline. She has like this cute video of us doing it. Cute. And then eventually, like someone sees this kid like bugging like them, so they pull the background kid back onto his tutoring. And but then me and Drew kept like doing some activities, and you know I love a good sport, so we're like cartwheeling and like I thought it was true love. I mean, meanwhile, he's probably about 27 at this point, and I was 11.
27.
Well, I don't know. He was like definitely an adult. Like he was just being nice to me, but at the time I was like,
yeah,
oh my
but
God,
he was definitely not 27. Like we're
really?
24.
How old do you think he is?
I would make a bet that he's like only 36 right now.
I would say he is. He's got to be like mid 30s.
I'd say 35 or 36.
But that's not him. Is his name Drew? American actor, 86. So what does that make him? I can't do mental math. 35. Okay.
I was right. I literally said 35 or 36.
Okay, so he was like 25 at the time. Close enough. Whatever. He
Baby.
clearly did not have a crush on me, but I was in love. So actually, thank you to the background actors.
Aw,
We love you.
that.
We love you, Danny.
I love the background, shedding light on the background actors in today's Poddy Talk episode.
Yeah, this was
and
insightful.
Realistically, we are the stars of the show, so don't forget it.
Background actors fired. Don't take my sparkle.
Don't dull my sparkle. Don't even get the quote wrong.
It's not my quote, okay?
Okay, so
Roses and
thorns, baby.
Oh, it feels
Give
so
it
good
to
be
me.
back in the flow.
Give it to me.
Okay, rose. Oh no, thorn first. Thorn. I was supposed to go for a run this morning because we're going to be in a long car ride, so I wanted to get my steps in, and I didn't, and it rained, so inactive.
I understand.
But that's okay, because the roses that we're going to Ottawa, I've been feeling sadly like disconnected from everyone because of quarantine, and I feel like now the last few weeks we're all vaccinated, things are opening up, so I am so excited to just have a good girls
truly
hang.
hot girl summer.
It is
you know?
hot vex summer, baby. So yeah, I'm excited to have a nice little girls getaway.
Hot girl summer. That's the tea.
Other rose is this little setup is kind of actually adorable.
Fire as F.
And something I'm looking forward to is our fresh delivery that I think just notified me was en route.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
I'll love to hear it.
What about you, Tor? What about you, Tor?
Okay, so thorn, I would say is, what is my thorn? I've been having a great old time. You know what my thorn is? No, you know what my thorn is?
What?
June threw me the F off because
Why?
I was in quarantine for 2 weeks, and I didn't realize how much that actually ruined my life. Like, it just...
Really? I thought it flew by for you.
It kind of did, but I realized once I was out of it, like, oh my God, I need to, like, get my life back in order. It's more like I'm a huge creature of habit, as we all know. And that really set me back in my mental life because I couldn't do my habits. Like, I couldn't, like, fulfill my daily, like, things. And it almost demotivated me. So then it was just, like, climbing out of that all of June. So now July has been fresh as F and loving it. Great vibes. So that's, I guess, the rose is that I've climbed out of it and now I'm good. Another rose is I've been really good with my workouts all week. Been, like, really lifting.
We didn't even
doing
get
the
the Apple
vibes.
Watch story. We'll save it for next week's episode.
Great vibes. But yeah, just putting in all the fitness. And then a rosebud is, yeah, we're going to Ottawa, and I haven't been back to Manotick, which is like a very small town in Ottawa, in like years. And I think it's going to be great vibes. It's just so
never
like
been.
chill and pretty and green, and you're going to love it. It's so relaxing.
Naturey.
It's small town vibes. The Caledonia Queen herself.
I love a small town.
We got it coming. So yeah, very excited, and hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much to Bud Light Canada. We love you
Bud
guys.
Light.
We're taking these on the road for sure because
these are coming to Ottawa.
yeah, they're coming with us. These are our favorite beverages for the summer.
They're like glistening. You know, it's like a commercial.
Yeah,
commercial
we love
one.
it.
Well, thank you, Bud Light. Thank you to all of our listeners. Oh, that's the shot. Ow! Bud Light, be bold, be you.
Insert.
Wait.
Okay.
This is too funny.
Thanks, guys. Love you. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.